This is a premiere. This is my first live stream here on YouTube. Don't know how many people will join me. I have kind of like zero expectations, but usually I like to do this stuff over on Instagram. But I'm facing some troubles on Instagram, meaning I don't see any comments. So I thought, why not, just try to come here and kind of like, go live here and see how things will play out over here. Now, let's see if I can see the live chat. That seems to be fine. Carrie saying first, well, yeah, I can see the comments, which is already great. So, well, Carrie, thank you so much for joining. Yeah, so how things usually work during a live stream which I usually do on Wednesday on Instagram is I'm kind of like answering your questions live. So it's just a laid back, kind of like really cozy, if you so will, kind of like a laid back version. Again, I don't know how many people will be joining. Carrie, you're the first one, so awesome. I didn't announce this over here, which I probably should have been done. But again, usually I go live on Instagram. It works wondrous. It works just fine. So yeah. Oh man, I wish I had questions, Lo. Well, no worries. No worries. I'm glad you're here. And well, thank you so much for joining and just being here. This is awesome. Now, again, I will try to do this stream, maybe see how many people will be joining for like, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. But again, it seems like there's 2 people already in here. So yeah, let's just keep going and see how it goes. So my next video will actually be about anti-nutrients. And Dr. Rock is saying good evening. Well, hello there. Thank you so much for joining. I'm glad you're here. Now, anti-nutrients. What are anti-nutrients? So I don't know if you are familiar with the term basically plant chemicals or defense chemicals. And anti-nutrients are just that. They help the plants defend themselves from pathogens. So kind of like chemicals, or not chemicals, but bacteria or things that can cause some disease or damage the plants, or even insects. And some people believe that that is also not so good for our health as well, and tell you to avoid plants because of anti-nutrients. Well, on the surface, this seems like an interesting thought. The research, however, is clearly pointing towards the other direction. And basically, when we talk about anti-nutrients, what usually comes up are phytate, oxalates, goitrogens, and so on and so forth. So there's kind of like a lot of things that usually pop up. Now, I will try to address this in a detailed scientific manner as best as possible during my long-term kind of like video, which I still have to shoot, I still have to record. I just went through the research. I found a really good paper basically addressing a lot of the claims. And in short, honestly, what I want to give you guys kind of like as something that is really crucial. When you hear a claim about the nutrient being present in a food, again, it doesn't matter if it's meat, eggs, plants, whatever. Zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Look at the health outcomes. What happens if we feed that specific food item to people and their health? What happens? That's the question that is more interesting. Rather, that food in animal studies have been linked to this, this, and this. Well, interesting that you're saying this, but what happens in humans? What happens if we give this food to kind of like people? The same with oats. A lot of people are telling you online now that you should be avoiding oats because of pesticides. Well, what they're not telling you is that you have to eat all around, for example, for chlormequat, which is a pesticide, around 13 kilograms of oats. That's almost, I believe, 30 pounds or so of oats every single day to reach the maximum daily intake of, or acceptable daily intake, I should say, of chlormequat. So not even toxic levels. So again, if you kind of like hear all this stuff, just zoom out a little bit and look at the health outcomes, and you won't be confused anymore. Because the data on especially plant foods is very, very clear and very positive, to be honest. All right, some questions have been coming in. Well, it seems like Carrie was kind enough to ask some questions. What form of activism has given you the best results? Oh, this is really good, a really good question. Now, the best results for me, and I've never been at the forefront, basically. With forefront, I mean like, in the square or kind of like the cube. The cube of truth, is that how it's called, basically. Being, a vegan activist at the front. And I wanted to do that because I'm confronted with, people online all the time. And I'm arguing with people all the time online. And I basically have it up here and I need my free time to do something else. I mean, arguing with people is fine, but, kind of like being surrounded with negative comments all the time can get to you. Although I consider myself to have thick skin, otherwise I wouldn't, be doing this on social media for quite some time now. Yeah, you kind of like also have to separate yourself. So my best form of activism, or the most efficient form of activism, has been basically doing what I'm doing right now. Presenting people with scientific, factual, hopefully truths, or just relaying the totality of evidence, telling people that not all animal-based products are poisonous for you to eat, but why I'm choosing a plant-based diet, a 100% strict plant-based diet. The reasoning behind that, why I personally feel like it's the future, why it's better for the environment, why it's better for the animals, and so on and so forth. And just being honest about it and don't skew up the results or, kind of like be biased about that. That helps actually a lot. That really helps a lot. And people will then, I guess you can call it kind of like a passive activism, because then they will ask me a question like, hey, Luca, I see you work out and you're just eating a plant-based diet. Like, can you tell me more about it? And so on and so forth. So that's how it usually kind of like works out. All right, thank you so much. DR Rock is asking, how are you? Thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you doing? Hope you're doing great as well. Carrie's asking, do you need lots of protein to build muscles? This is a really common question, and honestly, it's not as much as you think we might need. Now, if we look at the scientific literature, honestly, the latest 3 big meta-analyses, and the meta-analysis is basically combining all the studies that fit their selection criteria regarding a certain topic, or a question, I should say. And basically what happens there is they saw that 1.6 gram of protein per 1 kilogram of body weight. In case you're from the US, 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds, is more than enough to build muscles. And you don't seem to experience any further benefits if you go above 1.6. Now, you can choose to eat a little bit more if you want to, but you basically don't get any more benefits than that. So I would basically aim for 1.6 grams of protein per 1 kilogram of body weight. That's roughly around 2.2 pounds. And you should actually maximize your gains with proteins. So there's that. Great question. All right. Carrie's saying, I eat oats every day. Yes, that's basically going back to what I was talking about earlier. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oats are great. Oats are fantastic. They contain fiber, of course, typical kind of like different type of fibers like beta glucans, which are amazing because they are water soluble and they can kind of like hinder the fast absorption of glucose or other things, and just being or hinder the absorption of, for example, bile again, thus forcing your body to soak up or take in the cholesterol from the blood and help so you create more kind of like cholesterol or bile and so on and so forth. So tons of good stuff. Oats are just amazing and really cheap. So I don't see why a lot of people are, vilifying oats. So, all right. DR Rock is saying, you look good. Thank you so much for the compliment. It's very much appreciated. Are you from? I guess you want to know where I'm from. Well, I'm actually from Switzerland. I don't know where you're from. You might as well can write it in the comment section. How much do you weigh? Right now, I'm weighing around 78 kilogram. In pounds, how much is that? 176 pounds, I believe, or so. So yeah. Carrie's asking, what is your favorite meal? Now, I don't have really kind of like a favorite meal, to be honest. There's one meal which I never get tired of, and that's kind of like I call it my power muesli. There's literally almost everything in it except of vegetables. It's a huge meal, almost like 2,000 calories, and once I've eaten that, I'm good until dinner time, basically. But other than that, I don't have a favorite kind of like meal. Yeah, I kind of like a lot of meals, especially the ones that are considered healthier. I don't know, I crave healthy food usually all the time. I'm not sure why that is, but yeah, what's your favorite meal? Hi from Australia. Oh, you're from Australia. Amazing. I always wanted to go there. It's a long flight from Switzerland to Australia, and isn't it like really early in Australia, like early morning? So you must be kind of like an early bird. Yeah. Carrie's asking, wow, 2,000 calories in one meal. Yeah, you have to consider the fact that I'm an individual that moves around a lot, and I don't like to eat big or like frequent meals in the sense to kind of like, small portions of meals a couple of times or 5, 6 meals per day or so. I like to have like 2 meals, 3 meals, and that's it. So the calories have to come in somewhere. But yeah, it's a huge meal. It takes me some time to finish it, but I usually like to watch stuff, learn stuff. So while I'm eating, so it's a lot of fun. I love eating it. That's amazing. Presumably whole foods, not processed. Yes. So basically, what I put inside are tons of fruits, tons of berries, more around basically 800 grams of fruits, berries alone. So that's the base. Then I put in dried berries like dried mulberries, dried goji berries. I put in tons of seeds. Well, not tons, but like 10 grams of seeds, basically. More than 50 grams of nuts. All kinds of different kind of like nuts, like Brazil nuts, pistachios, walnuts, pecan nuts, and the list goes on. Then this is no joke, I put in 60 grams of raw cacao powder. Yeah, that's a lot of cacao, I know. And I also put in, puffed quinoa, puffed amaranth as well, puffed millet, and what else? There's something else. I also put in chlorella powder. So yeah, tons of stuff. So it slowly starts to add up. So, right. Yeah, and it is indeed morning over there. 2:45 a.m. I'm getting ready for work. Wow, what you're doing? So working up so early in the morning. This is crazy. But I guess you're getting used to it, right? You're an early bird, meaning you can kind of like finish your work when some people are just having a lunch break, I guess. I eat all day. Do you think you would ever sell it? I would buy it. Muesli is my favorite. Well, I've actually, you don't have to pay me a single dime, to be honest. Um, I've put up the recipe a couple of times. You might be able to find it in the short list, even here on YouTube. So all you have to do is kind of like scroll down and you will find kind of like the recipe to it. Again, it's not something that a lot of people probably will enjoy because it's so much food and you need a lot of time and it makes you full. It makes you really full for a really, really long time. And it's kind of like, a really huge meal. So it's not something that I would recommend for most people. But hey, if you want to try it, of course, you can also downsize the portions. For me, it's really great. I usually mix it with soy milk, oat milk, and some coconut water as well. So I will definitely look it up later. And yes, I'm used to it. I guess you're waking up earlier. That's what you're referring to. I weigh 50 kilograms and shrinking. I need more calories. Well, if you need more calories, then what I can recommend to you is try to make smoothies, add in some dark chocolate, add in some peanut butter, add in some oats in the smoothie, add in some flax seeds, chia seeds, and hemp seeds. All the good stuff, all the good fats, basically. Of course, throw in something that is kind of like sweet, like some fruits that you enjoy, maybe some veggies, and you can drink your calories. Drinking your calories can help you get your calories in really, really fast, and it usually helps quite a lot. So hopefully that can help you. Well, then I wish you a really good shift. Thank you so much for being here. This was actually fun. It's just a private session almost. Again, I will maybe try to do more lives, but this was more like an experiment because I usually go live on Instagram, but Instagram seems to be having some troubles. I will try to go live one less time now over there, otherwise I will be going live tomorrow. So um, this is like getting a free trainer session. Thanks so much. Well, this is awesome. I'm glad I could be of any help. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to kind of like send me a message either on Instagram. I don't know if you can send me messages here on YouTube. Probably doesn't work. I go by the same username in case you're not following me. If you have any questions, again, you don't have to pay me a single dime. I love answering the questions. So yeah, thank you so much. Have a great start into the day, especially you, Carrie. This was really fun. This was really fun, and see you next time.